Real money trading in TBC Anniversary is completely out of control. Players are still buying gold, bots are everywhere, and banning GDKP didn't actually solve the problem. But here's the real question that has the community in a heated debate. Should Blizzard add the WoW token into the Burning Crusade? Let me put my Dooki hat on, because the RMT situation in TBC Anniversary is a shitty one. The conversation around RMT has become one of the most controversial topics in the Classic community. But if we're being honest about the current state of the game, the discussion shouldn't be whether RMT exists, because it already does. The real discussion is about how it's handled. For many players, this is now the third time experiencing the Burning Crusade. The content isn't new, the meta is solved, raid strategies are known, arena compositions are also known. Players know exactly what they need to stay competitive in both raids and PvP, and in most cases, that requires a lot of gold. Unless you enter TBC with a massive stockpile of gold already saved up, players quickly realize how expensive the expansion can be. Consumables, professions, enchants, crafted gear, arena preparation, it all adds up pretty quickly, and that is where demand for gold buying comes into play. But let's first talk about one of the biggest changes Blizzard made for Anniversary, which was banning GDKP. The belief was that GDKP encouraged the demand for buying gold, but the reality is that gold buying didn't disappear when GDKP was removed. Players have still been buying gold throughout every phase of Anniversary, bots are still farming around the clock, and the black market gold economy is still thriving. Removing GDKP didn't eliminate any of that, and most importantly, it didn't eliminate the demand for gold, it simply shifted where that gold gets used. In my opinion, especially because this is the third time in TBC, GDKP, if anything, would actually help increase raid availability, just like it did in the past, because most of the raiding community in Anniversary tends to raid during evening hours. When GDKPs existed, there were runs happening throughout the entire day, mornings, afternoons, evenings, and late nights. Some GDKPs were so professionally run that they usually performed better than your average pug, and overall it allowed for more flexible raid schedules instead of the current typical situation where players feel like they can only raid after 5 PM when most guild raids begin. Now, the big thing regarding GDKP is when people talk about RMT in Classic, GDKP often gets blamed first. But in reality, boosting services are a much bigger driver of black market gold demand. And why, do you ask? Because boosting requires large amounts of gold and creates a constant demand for more. Players who want to skip time-consuming leveling grinds, especially in a game we have already experienced multiple times, often turn to these services. And that demand fuels the entire illegal gold selling market. So as long as players want to skip long grinds or accelerate their progress, there will always be a market for buying gold. And my biggest issue when it comes to boosting is because it's the biggest supply for illegal gold selling, and now you also have Blizzard's official level 58 character boost, then why do you allow boosting to happen in the first place? Another major issue that ties heavily into RMT is botting, and anyone who spends enough time in the open world can see them. They're farming herbs, mining nodes, grinding mobs, and the biggest, boosting in dungeons. Entire farming operations running 24 hours a day, and these bots exist because gold selling websites need supply to match the demand from players buying gold. And right now that demand is extremely high and has been for a long time. In some cases, the situation has gone even further with what many players refer to as bot mafias. Players who compete with their boosting prices or try to interfere with their operations have reported being mass reported in game, and there even have been cases where players attempting to expose bot networks have been threatened. And a well-known example is Mad Skills Hardcore, who runs a YouTube channel dedicated to exposing and hunting bots. His last video was posted about a year ago. However, he posted a very disturbing video going into detail about how he received threatening messages from multiple individuals telling him to stop going after bot operations or they would harm him in real life. And situations like this just highlight how entrenched the RMT ecosystem has become in parts of the game and how it affects players. Now, the issue is there is so many aspects to RMT. However, Blizzard's controversial WoW token remains the one thing that seems most likely to get added to the game to combat illegal gold buying. Many say that it adds pay to win, which is true, but in reality that system already exists through illegal gold buying. The difference is players are willing to risk a ban for it, and the profits go to bot networks, gold selling websites, and third-party RMT operations. None of that benefits the game or its development. A WoW token wouldn't magically fix everything. Bots wouldn't disappear overnight, but it would redirect a large portion of gold buying into a legitimate system, which historically reduces demand for illegal gold sellers. And like I said earlier, TBC isn't a new game. This is our third playthrough of the Burning Crusade. Whether someone believes the token is good or bad doesn't suddenly change how we're replaying TBC. If anything, the token would simply give those players a legitimate option instead of pushing them towards shady websites that lead to suspensions, bans, and even more bot activity across the game. So overall, when you look at the main culprits of RMT in Anniversary, it has been boosting. It supplies so much gold to the black market, and most importantly, it shouldn't even be allowed since Blizzard already added the level 58 character boost. Why would you want a supplier of illegal gold in the game when you already have an official boost in the store? When it comes to GDKP, it's been banned, and RMT is still the worst it's probably ever been in Classic WoW. And then you have the WoW token, which is, if they choose not to add it, well, they should still probably unban GDKP because it helped the raiding community, and ultimately ban boosting to stop the supply of illegal gold. However, if the WoW token does get released, then it doesn't really matter if GDKP and boosting exists, since every player would be able to buy gold legally through the token, and the black market wouldn't really benefit anymore from illegal sales. Like I said though, this is our third time playing TBC. You might as well just let players do whatever they want. Add the token, add GDKP. If you're gonna allow boosting, whatever, allow boosting. With all of that said, I do believe the token would benefit TBC because I can't say this enough. It's not a fresh MMO, and we have experienced it multiple times now. However, I don't believe the WoW token belongs everywhere. When Blizzard launches Classic Plus, the token should absolutely not be included. Classic Plus should preserve the philosophy of early World of Warcraft and build upon it carefully. Introducing the token into a brand new classic experience would dramatically change progression and the economy. And at this point, the WoW token debate in Anniversary comes down to a simple question. Do we want illegal RMT or regulated RMT? Because pretending gold buying doesn't exist hasn't stopped it. It's only allowed the worst version of it to continue operating in the background. So with everything I have talked about in this video, let me know what your thoughts are regarding RMT, because the community's voice really matters on topics like this. Be sure to check out my Discord link in the description to talk more with me and other players about topics related to Classic WoW. Also, if you want 10% off from Rested XP leveling guides, there is a link in the description, and when you click on it, it automatically applies the discount. Thank you so much for watching. Be sure to like and subscribe for more WoW content, and I'll see you in the next one. Yo, why are you doing this? What the fuck you doing? Hey, there's that fucking warlock that tried to get me. Yeah, I see how it is. You tried to get me the first time and you fuck up, and then you see me the second time and you run away like a little bitch. Guess that's how World of Warcraft works.